It begins in silence. No shouting, no final goodbye, just a sudden quiet stop. Two people who once revolved around each other simply don't anymore. The messages fade, the calls end, and what looks like the end of a story is actually the beginning of transformation. This silence is not emptiness, it's energy. It's the unseen moment when the emotional gravity starts to shift. For the dismissive avoidant, silence has always been a shield, control disguised as calm. Distance meant safety. Pulling back meant power. They believed silence made them untouchable, and for you, silence once felt like suffocation. You chased connection. You filled the spaces they left empty. You tried to keep something alive that was already fading. But now, both of you have stopped. No messages, no calls, no contact, just stillness, and that stillness begins to move mountains. From the outside, it looks like nothing's happening. Two people walking away, but beneath that calm surface, the power dynamic quietly flips. The ego that depended on being chased begins to tremble. The one who feared silence begins to breathe in it. What feels like the end is actually the beginning of awareness. Most people never talk about this phase, the invisible war between silence and control. They talk about closure, dramatic endings, emotional explosions. But the truth is, real change happens in the quiet, in the space where nothing seems to happen. It's in the nights you fight the urge to text, in the seconds before you check their profile and choose not to, in the moments when the silence becomes heavier than words. The avoidant expects silence to protect them. It's their comfort zone. They think you'll break first. They expect your need for connection to outweigh your self-respect. But when you don't reach out, their illusion of control begins to crack. Questions creep in. Why haven't they texted? Did they move on? Was I wrong about the power I thought I had? They won't say it out loud, but silence has turned from their weapon into their mirror. And for you, that same silence becomes something sacred. At first, it shakes your reflexes. You want to reach out, to feel something familiar. But each time you don't, you take your power back. Each second you hold the line, you grow stronger. This is Stoicism in motion. Not about pretending you don't feel, but mastering what you do. You stop letting impulse dictate your peace. This isn't about games. It's about understanding the psychology behind stillness. What happens when both people stop chasing? Beneath the quiet, egos crack, patterns collapse, and truth finally surfaces. Silence exposes everything words use to hide. The avoidant who once felt powerful in distance now starts to feel the weight of their own walls. The person who feared abandonment begins to face it. And you, the one who always held the bridge, finally stop building what others keep burning. That's the moment everything flips. You begin to see that silence isn't punishment, it's purification. It removes illusion. It shows who moves when the noise stops. It teaches you that control built on reaction is no control at all. Each day of no contact is an emotional detox. You stop measuring your worth through their responses. You stop asking, "Do I still matter?" and start realizing you always did. That's when the silence changes shape. It stops feeling empty and starts feeling powerful. Meanwhile, on their side, confusion grows. The relief they once felt in pulling away begins to fade. Curiosity takes its place. They check your feed. They hover. They test the waters. A like here, a comment there. Subtle signals meant to see if your attention still belongs to them. But you don't react. You see through it. Every breadcrumb becomes proof of your strength. This is where emotional control becomes visible. You're no longer tied to their patterns. You've learned to sit with your emotions without letting them rule you. You've learned to breathe through the urge instead of bowing to it. Silence becomes your teacher. It shapes you, steadies you, strengthens you. On their side, the silence starts to echo louder. The distance they once controlled becomes a void they can't fill. The ego that once felt powerful now feels isolated. They start to wonder, not out of love, but out of loss of control. That's when silence flips the entire script. What began as their defense becomes their downfall. What began as your discomfort becomes your discipline. Weeks pass. You rebuild. Your focus shifts from them to yourself. You pour energy into your growth, your body, your work, your peace. The silence that once scared you becomes a structure you can stand on. And from that stillness comes strength. You're not chasing. You're not waiting. You're simply living. The avoidant may reappear. A message, a like, a casual, hey. But this time, it hits differently. Their patterns are no longer mysterious. They're predictable. You see the mechanism behind their distance. And because you see it clearly, it no longer controls you. Not every story ends with a reunion, and that's okay. The real transformation isn't about them coming back. It's about you never losing yourself again. Because the truth is, silence doesn't destroy, it reveals. It shows who clings and who grows, who hides and who heals. This is what Stoicism looks like in the real world. It's not coldness, it's calm. It's not about not caring. It's about caring without collapsing. And when you stand in that silence long enough, something miraculous happens. You stop fearing it. You start trusting it. Silence stops being their weapon and becomes yours.